Yeah, they immediately elect to ban the Mel away from Dusk Legends. Dusk Legends does play this champion quite a bit. It also signals that they possibly might want to play champions that are bad into Mel, such as Syndra or Ahri. We're just going to have to see if that's what they end up first picking here. Ahri, of course, something that I had mentioned last series, is one of the safest first picks in the game. And there's the Viego ban right away.
Psychosis wants nothing to do with that Viego.
Also, we see the Mundo ban coming out for the side of Big Python, so they must have heard something, or they know that either the jungler or the top laner on the side of Psychosis plans on playing this as one of their steadfast characters. Mundo, obviously very difficult to deal with, especially if you have a team that's all about burst damage, using his W to mitigate some of that, but they are able to get the Jinx first pick right away, confirming our suspicions that that is what they want to play for.
Yep. Jinx gives you pretty good scaling in the late game, as we've repeated, I think probably half a dozen times now. Great team fighter, and ultimately just great in lane as well. As the Diana going to come out from Team Big Pythons, that's likely to go to the jungle. You want to talk about something similar to Viego, well, the Diana's slipping on through.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to combo this into anything in the mid lane, possibly a Yasuo mid, just to make it, there it is. Yeah, the Yasuo-Diana combo, it's a tale as old as time. I think as soon as Yasuo was released, I believe Diana Yasuo combo was instant. The Nasus pick as a first pick is really crazy.
Give me that Renekton. Give me the Shurima shuffle top side fight, the Wombo combo. And ooh, okay, the Scion. So interesting. That Scion, I think, probably going to go support now. I think maybe Scion support, Nasus top. I don't think that Nasus would want to go jungle, right?
I'm not entirely sure where they plan on placing these champions. Nasus for sure not a champion that you really want to first pick that often, unless you're just so confident that Angry Pickler has no answer into it on the top side.
Maybe it's mid. Maybe it's Nasus mid.
It could be Nasus mid. Nasus has been an answer to Yasuo. His W is absolutely crippling to Yasuo's movement. Prevents him from being able to really do anything in team fights. So you are correct. That is a good guess. Nasus could go mid, but if they end up doing that, you have to put something in the top lane that gives you an AP presence, if not in the jungle. So Scion could be going top, but if they do so, they've got to have some kind of strong AP jungler, maybe possibly an Elise. Elise would be incredibly strong with this team.
You know what's made it through so far? If Scion goes support, there's plenty of room for a Mordekaiser or a Malphite, as long as it doesn't get banned. Mordekaiser on that Psychosis lineup right now with that Scion, with that Nasus. You're talking about Wombo nasty combo.
Yeah, I mean, you'll have 4 beefcakes that just do exactly what they want to do in team fights. There's really no answer on the side of Big Pythons. If they try to get a Diana-Yasuo combo, it's not really going to result in much. But yeah, the Gwen pick coming out here very quickly. I guess they're really confident that they can play it into both the Nasus and the Scion. Here's the thing, though. Gwen will lose the matchup against Nasus if Nasus builds a Dorn's Blade and maxes E first. It allows him to wave clear effectively and still do tons of damage to Gwen without ever having to fear of getting into range of the scissor combo.
Gotcha. Well, interested to see what they want to try and pair with this. Zaheen going to be brought out there. That could potentially... I have no idea where any of these champions are going. I don't know who's support right now. I don't know what's going on.
Is it Zaheen support?
Is this Zaheen support? I know that some people have talked about it. I can't remember if it was someone on Big Team Pythons or someone else that had told me about the potential Zaheen support, but I remember somebody within the server talking about how they like to play Zaheen support, so it is possible that it's going there. Is Malzahar going to be the potential mid? Oh, okay, so they definitely want to directly counter that Yasuo, so they are going to go ahead and pick up the Malzahar there. This still could be...
Where is it going? It's going top? I mean, you'd have to go...
Malzahar mid, but then they could still put Malphite or Mordekaiser top lane.
Okay, so here's the thing. I don't think Psychosis has really necessarily understood what they could do here to really throw off Big Python's plan. Most likely, Malzahar goes mid into Yasuo. Malzahar does have a winning matchup against Yasuo by virtue of being able to just wave clear with your dot very easily without fear of retaliation from the Yasuo. Not only that, but you've got the spell shield to block the tornado engage from the Yasuo, so it's a very safe lane. However, if they decided to pivot Malzahar to the top side, that matchup versus Gwen is also favorable, and Nasus will have a favorable matchup mid against Yasuo.
Who is the ADC here? Is this
Yasuo ADC with Zac
Yasuo
support?
ADC? Zac supports Zaheen jungle, Gwen top, Diana mid? Yeah, this
Maybe
could be. I don't know. You want it like having access to the lane minions and just getting better stacking that way much faster. Feels like it would be better, but we will have to see what they want to do with it. I guess that makes sense though, because like it's not like the Scion could go into the jungle, so there was really only the place to put him.
Yeah, so we correctly predicted that it would be Dusk Legends mid on this Diana, and then you would just put Zac and Yasuo bot lane. That combo is a little bit easier to land. Angry Plicker taking up Zehen versus Scion is a good matchup for Zehen. But here's the thing. I would have just put... I feel like Scion in the jungle position just makes a lot more sense here. I think his ganks are way better than Nasus. Nasus, the only way you actually get a gank off as Nasus is you have to basically just rely on the fact the enemy team has done no vision control whatsoever. Because your ganks are literally run into lane and hope to God that you get in range to cast your Wither. If that doesn't happen, it's easy to just walk away. So the alternative is like, okay, well now Nasus is this hyper-scaling, hyper-farming jungler who's just going to be farming all game and getting free stacks. That's cool and all, but now you can't really have the side laning threat of a Nasus where you can slow down Yasuo or Gwen from doing what they want to do. Yasuo and Gwen, well, Gwen's the jungler, but Yasuo and Zehen are going to be able to do whatever they want against Sion and the rest of the team. And I don't know, it just feels like a missed opportunity. You should have probably had Sion in the jungle here.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see how these lanes start to play out, because a bunch of switching. I thought that it was going to be Zehen and the Zac on the bot side, but no, they switched it up at the last second. Decided to go the Yasuo and the Zac. I mean, to your point, they got to be very careful in this bot lane. They're going to get zoned off quite a bit of minions and XP. They're going to be down a little bit. Conceivably, Psychosis will just have permanent priority in that lane, and that invites all kinds of ganking opportunities. But also for Psychosis, they have the ability to just kind of lay back and scale. Like, they have champions that work really well in the late game. And they have a lot of CC, a lot of deniability in team fights in terms of what TBP wants to try and set up. So, interested to see how that will start to develop as the game goes on.
Yeah, it will be very interesting to see. Another, we're talking about some draft blunders here that we've been focusing on Psychosis's play. There's a big glaring draft blunder, in my opinion, on the side of Baggy Pythons. I feel like if you put
Baggy
Gwen
Pythons?
top, or Baggy Pythons, big Pythons.
they're just wearing bell bottoms.
That's the name. It's
Snakes wearing bell bottoms.
They share the same two of the same characters, so they got the names mixed up. But Angry Pick, I feel like, okay, imagine a world where they just put Gwen against Sion and Zehen in the jungle. Does that not instantly make their comp like instantly better?
Oh, for 100%. Well, because Gwen is going to be way more difficult to deal with, like in that top side. Like, Sion's just permanently pushed out and can't do anything against that Gwen. And Zehen against Nasus in that jungle, like, it's just invade city. Like, there's nothing Nasus can do against Zehen.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like also Gwen has true damage built into her kit. So even if Sion builds resistances, Gwen is one of the few champions in the game that, unlike what we've seen for the rest of the tournament, can actually still kill you as a tank. And you will not see that on the side of Zehen. Zehen, a great champion that gets a lot of sustain, but all Nasus is going to do is build a Thornmail, and now all that goes out the window, and Zehen really has no chance in that lane to ever get a kill.
Yeah. Something that I wanted to point out, and Tyler sent me this, so I wanted to point this out to people. So the Python mid laner, Dusk Legends, and the Psychosis ADC Psycho, they are actually friends in real life. So this is a little bit of kind of friendly rivalry stuff going on, where they're, they're both trying to help their teams win the series. It would be funny to potentially see these guys in the grand final situation, because obviously whoever loses this series will just go into the losers bracket, and the other one is going straight to the grand final. So it would be funny to see these guys play a full best of 5 after a best of 3, but we'll have to see how everything shakes out at the end of the series.
100%. And I would obviously love to hear some updates of what's going on in that set. But yeah, okay, we've got Zuko getting...
Oh, manages to flash out of that. Psycho, though, going to have to walk away. Dead burn, the flash, and the ghost. So we'll be down both of the summoner spell and vulnerable to a gank if Albie decides he wants to path down that direction.
Yeah, I think that this lane is going to get harder and harder for Zoko unless Manakana can get some awesome engages. It's really going to depend entirely on Reborn. If Reborn plays this Janna correctly, times the tornadoes to prevent the Zac engage, there's really never going to be a way for Zoko to get on top of this Jinx. And like we said earlier, Jinx is going to have just so much over-the-top damage, so much poke, that I think you just force Zoko out of lane a lot. Now, that being said, if Zoko plays the wave correctly and forces Jinx to step up into the backline of those caster minions, he can get on top of him himself.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a delicate balance that they're going to have to strike in that bot side to make sure that they're not over-aggressing and don't get caught out by Jinx, but at the same time inviting them forward just by positioning to potentially take a fight. It's something that I wanted to point out in this mid lane matchup because I am a bit of a Malzahar connoisseur. One of the difficult parts about playing into a melee champion in that mid lane is the ability, obviously, to just clear away your minions. As yeah, that combo's not going to work because he didn't get the entirety of it and is going to land the Dustfall or Dustcaller. Is going to flash forward, gets the first blood, dies underneath the turret, but will just be happy to get that one. NASA's going to be donated the gold there. But the point that I wanted to make is it's going to take a while for Antibiotics to really feel comfortable on that Malzahar. It takes a while for you to really get the damage that's threatening enough for any of those melee champions to really be scared of it. And if you go down early, it's difficult. And mana management against melee champions is so hard. That's why, like, when people talk about that the winning matchup for Malzahar and Yasuo is so Malzahar favorites, like, it's really not for the for like the 10-15 minutes of the game. Especially if he's able to shove you in a turn, because Yasuos that know how to use the space and know how to use their dash ability, you can really mess with Malzahar because he has to stand still to land all of his abilities. Yes, some of them are point and click in terms of the dot, but like you have to stand still that whole time, and trying to land refresh and just in general is a pain. That's why I've never liked the Yasuo matchup while playing as Malzahar. Like it's definitely not a lot of fun.
Yeah, you have to know how to play that matchup in order for it to work on your side as a Malzahar player, right? You can't just be going into that matchup thinking, oh, I'll just walk at Yasuo and win. Like, you're going to lose very hard. You have to play in a way that you're behind the wave and you're just letting your dot do the work for you and occasionally silencing those caster minions so that the dot can actually full clear the wave every time. Otherwise, you're going to lose the matchup. In this scenario, Diana does very well into Malzahar for different reasons. It's because your dash range is longer and you can actually pop that shield quicker than Yasuo can. Yasuo has to get 2 Q reps before he can throw the tornado out, assuming it lands. That's the only way you actually pop the shield bubble. Whereas Dusk Legends can throw out a Q, pop it that way. He can dash to Malzahar. The bubble only blocks the damage of the dash. It doesn't actually negate the dash itself. So Dusk Legends can easily pop the bubble, follow up with a ton of burst damage, and Malzahar has to play so carefully to avoid that.
Yeah. Well, and not only that, too, but I think as a Malzahar player, like, especially in the early stages of the game, you're not necessarily intentionally trying to land damage on your opponent. If you're landing damage through your dot and through the refresh along with the minions, it should be incidental. Your main goal is just to farm. Because late game, 100%. Once you reach 5 items, Malzahar with 5 items and the amount of burn that he puts out in teamfights and his ability to just delete a target and essentially just make it a 4v4 and, you know, put somebody in timeout, that is incredibly difficult to deal with in the late game, even though you can build QSS, but I like the ability to... Albie wants to try and see if he gets his damage on top of Nasus. He's going to go into the ultimate, but gets slain. Albie will be the first to go down. Angler Pickle will probably be next. Psychosis gets a double kill. Dust Legends, though, he wants to kill this Malzahar. Manages to get the silence. Dust Legends, will he get out of here? No. The dot from Antibiotics gets it done in the end.
Yeah, Psychosis slowly starting to get a nice little... And she
Reborn.
landed!
Ignited, the Monsoon's going to come out to buy a little bit of space. The Tornado to buy even more time. Psycho wants to try and see if he can turn this around. The heal going to keep him healthy. Super Mega Death Rocket just eaten by an Anaconda, but he's going to go into this passive. He also has to run all the way, so this is going to be kill on the bot side for Psychosis.
100%, and guess who's getting the kill? It's Psycho, the person you do not want to get fed on this side. And you know what kind of happened? You know what happened there is what we kind of predicted. Maniconda able to get a great engage, which was followed up by the Zoko's ultimate. Right? That's awesome. That's what you want to see from the spot side. Here's the problem: there's a Janna with an ultimate. It completely negates your engage instantly. And guess what? You have no follow-up. There's nothing else you can do once your engage is negated, and it just allows Psycho to follow up and deal tons of damage, and they end up picking off Manny because of it. So, meanwhile, in the top side, I want to talk a little bit more about that Grub fight.
Yeah.
Albie, I don't think expected the amount of damage that was going to come out from the Q of this Nasus combined with Low Life Feels ultimate. That Scion damage was so massive, it just chunked him instantly.
Yeah, that was, I think, a rough fight for them to try and take. They were already going to be caught in the grub pit. And I think at that point, once they're caught there, it's kind of just inevitable they're going to go down. They don't really have an escape tools. The hand's already getting low. So it's just kind of one of those instances where you're getting caught with your pants around your ankles. And speaking of getting caught with your pants around your ankles, Dark Legends wants to see if he can get something done. Moonfall going to come out. Reborn manages to flash out. Another dash forward with the Crescent Strike. Dust Legends, though, just getting DOT'd to death. One more auto would do it. Antibiotics not going to be able to land the silence. And Dust Legends has to get the hell out of Dodge. Meanwhile, though,
oh, low life. Why didn't he just release the Q earlier? Oh man, that could have been a kill.
Yeah. Sorry, coughing.
No, you're good. Jinx actually in the interim, what we didn't notice is he actually sent an ultimate towards the mid lane, just barely missing Dusk Legends there. Dusk Legends himself surviving just by a thread. Meanwhile, Angry Pickler is trying to take this fight. I think you just auto attack him and win.
By Anaconda, yeah, that's.
Oh, he's got his ultimate.
Managed to get out of there.
Maniconda?
There is so much happening across the rift right now. Maniconda just got caught in the jungle, unfortunately, by the. I'm not sure. I can't remember just who's killed, but he got caught in the jungle and got a little bit punished there.
Seeming like a little bit of some solo queue stuff going on right now.
Yeah, it's give me some solo queue. I want to win my way kind of vibes.
Yeah, it's just like random little battles happening around the entire game, and none of which are going in baggy
pythons, team baggy pythons. Yeah, wait till they hear this when baggy pythons.
Big pythons.
They do be sagging across the rift.
It's gonna become a meme.
Stretching strike, gonna get knocked up. That's the bounce, and now they're on the board. They managed to kill the Jinx, and Reborn gonna have to walk on out of here. Not what he wanted. They got the kill onto the Jinx, and that's the combo working for TBP.
Yeah, the ultimate was used, but just a little bit too late there, or a little bit too early, rather, and it doesn't prevent the engage from Zoko teaming up with Maniconda's knockup. You know, there's really two ways that the knockup can land. The first is from the initial slingshot. The second is the ult itself. So that's something that they're going to have to keep an eye out for. You have to save your tornado for the slingshot and maybe the ult for any kind of follow-up afterwards. And it just doesn't happen that time around. Zoko and Maniconda able to get the kill.
Absolutely. And the result from that, too, is they're going to get their second dragon of the game. TBP have been Johnny on the spot and stacking these dragons. And Zoko now just going to kind of hang out in the bot lane and wait for his support to get there. And the goal, not significant for either team right now. It's just barely 500 gold lead for Psychosis. So there's plenty of opportunities for both these teams to win. And they're already demonstrating how they want to play the game. Like, you can see what TBP wants to do. They want to group, they want to dive, they want to fight. You know, Psychosis, they want to continue to take their time scale through these lanes, win some of the skirmishes. They don't necessarily want to be in a pitch 5v5. Diana caught underneath the turf. Flash forward, manages to get it anyways, though, with a Crescent Strike. Dust Legends, surely not long for this world. Doesn't have teleport to get away. Ping's coming down. Dan trying to make his way over. Oh, does get away with the Empowered Blast Kill because of the Rift State. Oh, and that's going to, Birds are going to have to just watch that one go away. Angry Pickler, though, may be the sacrifice here. Is going to go into the ultimate, goes unstoppable. It's funny how he came down to help the Diana, and then he's the one that died.
Yeah, just a bit of a miscommunication there. I don't think you ever actually want to be in that position as Angry Pickler. You just shove your wave in and reset. Dusk Legends, there was never really in threat of dying there.
By Nasus.
Yeah,
that's
what
unfortunate.
is happening?
Oh, the decimating strike from Low Line Fields manages to knock that one down, and now Antibiotics is here, but Dust Legends looking for another fight. He has a 2-level advantage over his counterpart. Wants to try and get in.
This
Low Line
is going to be disgusting
if
if he gets his kills.
Moonfall gets on top of 2. Low Line Fields is dead. Antibiotics sure to follow. Anaconda just wants to walk away from the Scion. Doesn't want to die to the passive. Forces the flash out. Low Line Fields just going to go back to the fountain. This Diana 5-2-0, but it's a trade for the bot side turret.
I'm telling you right now, if there's no check put into place to keep Dusk Legends from running away with this game, that's just what's going to happen. Dusk Legends is going to go unanswered and is going to dive Psycho and Janna and almost one-shot them with Zoko towards the end of the game. Remember, Diana setup into Zoko is the OG combination. It's not Maniconda Zoko. Zoko has multiple avenues to get in his ult off.
But Diana's the one you want.
Diana's the one you want, and guess what? Diana's the most fed member of the team. And like you said, 2 levels up is disgusting. Well, 1 level at this point, but basically 2 levels. She's scary.
I wanted to check. Let's see. So it's 25% of a champion's maximum health applies Squall. Well, you know what Diana can do in just 2 buttons? Delete 25% of your health. It is very, it's very, very difficult to survive this if you're a squishy member against this Diana. And 5 kills and a massive CS lead, more than 30 at this point. That is not where you want to be as Antibiotics. And I think just got caught playing so aggressive and he's been pushed out of this lane by this Diana. Not a favorable matchup for the Malzahar, and we're starting to see it get punished.
Yeah, and this is correctly called out by Low Life Feels. He realizes, hey, there's a lot of magic damage that's going to come out in the mid and late game. I need to pivot from armor into more MR, and so he's electing to get the Spectre's Cowl. Probably end up going to build that into the Hollowed Radiance just for the extra MR and wave clear. And that, that is the correct play. But here's the thing: now that you've basically got this fed mid laner and the jungler is also AP, it's forcing Sion to be in a position he doesn't want to be in. Sion wants to build armor to prevent Angry Pickler from being able to side lane against him. But at this point, Angry Pickler's stoked. He knows that now he has the ability to just build maybe like one armor pen item and tank away all of the armor that he's stacked up. And now you can actually side lane against this guy.
You're starting to see it too. That Bramble's Best is not going to be enough right now. Low Life Feels will want to eventually. But the thing is too is like you can sit on that Bramble's Best for a while, but eventually you're going to need to complete that item just to have some of the ability to side lane. Rift Herald, though, going to go towards Psychosis. Angry Pickler wants to prevent Low Life Feels from getting potentially involved in this team fight. This team positioning through the river. Manaconda, what else does he want to do? He's going to miss the Stretching Strike. Oh, Angry Pickler
no!
The blast kill, but that doesn't stop Sion from hitting the ultimate. And Angry Pickler
has to ult out of there.
Angry Pickler may be on the wrong side of this one. He wants to see what he can get, but it's a flank from the Diana. Moonfall on top of Psycho. He's going to go down. Zahin gets on top of that. And now, where can Psychosis go? Zoko wants to try and see if he can further gain people off. The Malzahar just not going to do anything. Burgle just trying to catch up to anything, trying to get a kill, but it's not going to happen. That's the Nether Grasp put on top of the Diana, or sorry, on top of the Zac, but that's not the target you wanted, and now he's going to die as well. It's going to be 4 dead for the side of Psychosis. TBP, they're making this composition work.
100%, and the entire, and I don't want to say the entire reason why, but a big mistake that was made on the side of Psychosis is Janna was not directly on top of Psycho during that fight.
No, it was not.
Excuse me, you have to be on top of your carry. You've got to be on top of Jinx during the entire course of that fight, because as soon as either Maniconda or Dusk Legends dives in, you have to have your ultimate available and ready to go to keep them off. We saw what happened in that fight. We predicted that it would happen. Dusk Legends sails around the bottom of the fight zone. He's dead.
Oh, that's Squall. That's Squall Pop. That is not fun to have to live through.
Yeah, this is going to get so much harder unless Janna plays it perfectly. If Janna is not playing this game perfectly, this game is as good as done. I don't care how even the gold gets. Dusk Legends is going to be able to do whatever he wants, and he's going to end up killing your carries over and over again.
Well, okay, and so let's talk about this for a second. So Antibiotics is one of those, on the Malzahar, you're looking at that champion like, okay, you can start to remove a piece of this puzzle for TBP where you can just lock somebody down. You don't have to worry about that engage. But if you're Antibiotics, who are you locking down in this fight? Like Zaken, Gwen, Diana, like you're just getting turbo dove, and the minute you stand still, someone's going to kill you.
You were if I'm on the side of Psychosis, if I'm their captain, I'm saying, hey, look, Antibiotics, you need to play essentially as like a second Janna. You're sitting on top of Psycho. He's dead.
He's dead. Dead in that bot lane.
What I was gonna say is you have to sit basically on. This is during team fight specifically. You have to sit with Janna, with Psycho, and you are a third propellant. Right? Your ultimate is designed to lock down Zoko or Dusk Legends, whoever is diving in first, and you kill that target. Now, here's what's really scary. What do you do as soon as Dusk Legends gets an Hourglass, which he's building right now, by the way?
Yeah.
And as soon as Zoko gets a Guardian Angel. Then that plan goes out the window, and you really have no answer.
Well, what you do is you cry loudly.
You cry, exactly.
And hope that somebody is there to help you when those two eventually dive you. Because you're right, I mean, that Zony's Hourglass, like... I think players, especially when you see in solo queue, they're loath to build defensive items like that because the thinking is like, oh, I want to do more damage. If I just do more damage, this fight will be over. But Dusk Legends recognizing, hey, the only way that I can lose this is if I get killed. The only way I can lose is if I'm not able to execute a team fight. Dusk Legends flashing over the wall, Psycho. Not long for this one more Crescent Strike will do it. As Albie is going to slay the Janna underneath the turret. And yeah, this team composition is absolutely running away with it. They're doing exactly what I talked about, is that they just want to go, dive everybody, and that is exactly what they're doing. No turret is safe.
Yeah, their dive is really crazy. I think that this really wouldn't be as possible if they didn't get so ahead in the lane phase.
Yeah.
But they just, whether it's a lack of the matchup knowledge or, just some missteps on their part, either way, they gave the advantage that Big Pythons needed to start doing this, and now we can see the strength of this comp coming to fruition. You know, I will still remain that I don't like this team composition because you have to get a lead in the lane phase, but they did it. So now I look like an idiot.
Fight starting to come out through the river. Antibiotics is momentarily CC, but now the Nasus is trying to see if he can buy any sort of space at all. Zoko might be falling, but no, manages to turn around. Dust Legends goes legendary. He's in the backside. He's doing everything he needs to do. It's a double kill onto the Malzahar. There's just nowhere left to run on the Rift for Psychosis. They are just trying to flee to get any towards a bash to safety. But Manaconda just trying to pull people through. Massive team fight win for TBP. Nasus looked like maybe he was going to be able to get something done, but he's not. And now the Baron's going to be given over.
Yeah, this
let's watch that
this
replay.
mid laner's 100%, and they're going to get Baron from it. Anyways, meanwhile, mid lane, we see Antibiotics trying to clear this out. The Nasus ends up making his way over. What they don't know is that this team is waiting in the rafters. Psychosis has no vision towards this jungle, this river, and he ends up stepping on vision. Unbeknownst to him, they are lying in wait. Albie starts to step forward, does some damage just to bait him in a little bit farther. Manny looking for an engage, just end up finding it. Yeah, forces the flash out by Antibiotics. Has to ult disengage immediately, but guess what? Dust Legends coming in from the top side of the map. He's going to be able to turn this fight right back around. Does so much damage to that Nasus. Comes back in, immediately gets a double kill on the Malzahar, and at this point, they're just chasing down the chicken straps. Forces low life feels to actually flash out of there, and he's going to eventually get away, but just an incredible fight. On the side of Big Pythons.
Well, something I noticed too, Lowline Field saw that Angry Pickler was coming in there and was trying to land that decimating smash to hit him as soon as he landed, but Angry Pickler just, I don't know if just he knew it was waiting or just reacted to it, just immediately dashed out of the way of that decimating smash, didn't get caught in, and was free to get involved in that fight. So, and I mean, to your point earlier, it's like you hate to see a team comp like this work because, like, well, surely this is easily punishable just by, you know, playing your composition right and being, you know, measured and everything like that, but then you see it start to work and, like, I mean, it's just one of those things like the pieces shouldn't work, but they do.
Yeah, I mean, the answer is, hey, don't go 0-10, you know? Like, don't feed the enemy laner. I mean, this is the thing. You can make any comp work if your laners are just, you know, absolutely fed out of your mind, right? That's the thing, though, is in you know, when you're playing in a competitive scene, that's what you need to be, you know, well seasoned for. You need to be able to prevent that from happening and kind of quench those lane leads to the point where the matchups actually work out how they're supposed to. And in this mid lane, it was just too many advantages that have been given to Dust Legends. At this point, you have to hope that Dust Legends overcommits and gets hit by the Malzahar ult, and they're just able to take him out before the fight can start.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of starting off this fight, that's what Pythons wants to do. They want to boogie Zoko, starting to go low, but that's not really the biggest problem because Alba here doing it quite a lot. This is going to be the Nether Grass put on top of the Gwen, but that's really not the target that you wanted because now once again getting stuff done. Nasus gets the shutdown, but that's the ultimate for multiple members. The exhaust applied just to make sure he can't do any extra damage. The jungler for Psychosis is down, and now TBP trying to.
They're going to run away with it.
Psycho though gets a huge kill, shuts them down. It's a triple kill. They managed to turn it around. It looked like TBP was going to turn that around and start to kill them, but no. Psychosis with a huge fight win, and now they're going to be able to get their first drag of the game.
100%, they just turned the fight right around. The whole reason why that happened is because Dusk Legends decided to use all of his abilities and dive on to the Scion and the Nasus, and as soon as that happens, you basically give free reign to Antibiotics, Psycho, and Janna to back up, play the slow game, use their disengage abilities well, like the traps and the Janna tornado, and you're able to do enough damage to Albie and Manaconda to give Jinx resets, and because of that, they end up turning the fight right around. It's just an excellent play by the side of Psychosis to play towards their strengths. And basically what happened in that situation is Dusk Legends just didn't have the correct target priority.
Well, not only that, he never really got to get the ult off on the people he needed to, was just harried and harassed the entire time. And if you're Psychosis, that's what you need to do. Continue making those plays and deny the ability to get on your damage dealers. And also, Virgil as well on the backside, just taking up so much time from Zoko and from Manaconda, just making sure that they never had the freedom to get involved with the fight. So the adjustments that we're seeing in-game is exactly what you'd like to see out of a team like Psychosis, especially knowing that they went 2-0 in their first series. And it's really competitive, Black Mage. I'm really happy to see that they're not going down without a fight.
100%, yeah. Big Python's really showing what they're made of in these fights, and likewise, Psychosis showing why they went 2-0 in the last set. They obviously have a recipe for winning, and they know how to win. Let's just see if they can stem the bleeding, start to really play slow, and like I said, they've got to play antibiotics on this Malzahar more like a peeling support for the Jinx. Save your ultimate for whenever there's someone that is trying to dive onto your backline, and surely, if you're in the right position, it will result in a teamfight win.
Well, and I think even in addition to that, too, as antibiotics, you have to make your peace with the fact that you're going to die. Like, your only job is to prevent everybody else from getting on top of that Jinx. And as long as you can do that, I think you're going to be in a really good spot. And you might not even die as well, because if you can stop the first part of that engage, there's a decent chance that you could turn around and start to win the fight.
100%. Angry Pickler is showing why this Zaheen is so disgusting, but Lowlife doing some good damage back to him. Although Lowlife will basically provide a healing bag for the Angry Pickler. He is going to be able to out heal the damage that's done from the Thorn Mail.
And a couple turn shots, so we'll have to walk out of there. Avoids the zap, so won't get slowed, so no potential engage there. Meanwhile, though, Dust Legends on that bot side starting to push the waves into the turret. Someone will eventually have to go answer him. You'll need to spin multiple people, because even though you did win that last team fight, he's still in a massive advantage. 4K. He's 12-3-2. Does a tremendous amount of damage. You need your tanky members to deal with them, but antibiotics might want to get involved here.
This is a scenario you can kill him. Oh man, Ikana is going to have to interrupt.
They're going to stop it. That's the Dust Fall, but Psycho's still on the backside.
The trap on top of him.
Yep, that's going to be the trap. He's going to get rooted and silenced. That's the fight that you need to win. Angry Pickler going way too far underneath the turret, trying to get something, but that's just not going to work. Lands down on top of Psycho, but just not able to get it done. The Resurrection going to come out. Meanwhile, on the backside, the rest of TBP trying to find anything that they can get, being harried and backed off by the Nasus, who is keeping them in check. Psychosis, they may have turned the corner, and they are now in control of this game.
100%. What a great job by Psychosis to get back into this game, taking advantage of Dusk Legends being out of position there. You know, we saw the Dusk Legends trying to side lane, but you can really only side lane if the rest of your team is also trying to take advantages somewhere else on the map. It seemed like they stopped their mid push right before they actually they backed off, which prompted Psychosis to pivot and push multiple members over to the side lane. They answer Psychosis or Dusk Legends in turn, and the use of antibiotics ultimate ends up netting them a kill on Dusk Legends, and now they're back in this game.
Well, and this Nasus also starts to reach the point where he's going to be a massive threat to just about everybody on the side of TBP, because he doesn't fall down easy anymore. When it was easy to kill him early, you weren't so threatened, but now he just lives for a long time, and he was able to zone off 3 members of TBP while Angry Pickler and Dust Legends were just taken apart. So glad to see that Psychosis have now realized what they need to do. Antibiotics doing a great job isolating that Diana. Yes, goes into the Zonias, but then just traps waiting for her. As soon as she gets out of that, gets silenced, and you know, that kill, knocking out the Diana, taking away their ability to team fight. Psychosis, that's a huge deal.
100%. Just playing these team fights pretty well, managing to rotate effectively when needed, and if you're on the side of Big Pythons, you're starting to get a little nervous that the lead you've built up around this mid laner is starting to get negated by the fact that these champions are just way too tanky and are starting to survive that engage.
Oh, speaking of getting negated, Albie here. Going to have a couple of ultimates used. Is slowly ticking. Reborn trying to get out of here. That's going to be the needlework. Sent out from Albie. Another tornado, though, just to buy a little bit of space, and we'll have to be we're forced to back up. Oh, Psycho manages to land it with a long range Super Mega Death Rocket. Psycho now is enraged and wants to start to try and put a little bit more damage in. That's the top laner dealt with. They could look to get aggressive inside this jungle and take
Psycho needs to be careful here.
Yeah, needs to be conscious of the fact that there could be someone waiting in the ring. They don't necessarily know where the Diana's at right now.
There's no answer, though.
Yeah, he's just being allowed to push into this middle side. Oh, Psycho.
Oh,
if there was just a little bit of help, he would absolutely take that Crescent Strike in and land the Moonfall, but not going to do it yet, as Nasus is going to start that Drake up. That will only get them their second one, so they're not even a parity yet. But TBP, you're starting to get worried. The point I wanted to make earlier before we potentially get in this fight is the fact that Dust Legends has this massive lead, but also, like, this is as scary as he gets. Yeah, not even going to be able to land the Moonfall. Was monsooned out of it. Zach going to try and get the jump in, but the tornado on top of the chompers just makes sure that he is not able to go anywhere. And Psycho, yeah, they're not worried about anything right now. That Diana is as scary as it's going to get. There's really nothing else that she can do other than just finish the last components, or finish off this last item. But if that's as best she's got, you're not worried anymore.
Yeah, I think that at this point we are seeing why this team comp from Baggy or from Big Pythons is just it's too hard to execute if Janna plays it correctly. If Janna uses the abilities correctly, like we said earlier in the game, if she uses the disengage when it needs to be used, it's too hard to execute. You have to basically force all of your abilities onto someone else that Janna is not on top of. Now, combine that with the fact that antibiotics and this Malzahar really aren't that crazy far behind. One item. But here's the thing. You're not really worried about the one item disadvantage on Malzahar. You're just worried about landing your ultimate when it needs to be landed. And if you can do that, you're doing your job, like you said earlier. So now you're in this rough position as Big Pythons where you're wondering, hey, like, do we wait until Janna has none of her abilities left and then engage? How do we force that out? Do we have to force Zoko and Maniconda on first and then Dusk Legends over the top once these abilities have been used? It gets really hard to actually coordinate these team fights, and it's one of the reasons why I don't really like this comp to begin with.
Do me a favor and hover over the Jinx items and remind us and the viewers what that Mortal Reminder does.
Some grievous wounds.
Some grievous wounds. Yeah, some grievous wounds. You know who doesn't like grievous wounds? Champions that try and dive, because it makes it really hard to sustain yourself. Lowline Fields is just to be able to flash and get out of this one. Ultimately, it stopped, though, but I don't know if you know this. That's a tanky Scion, and you got like 1% of his health, and he's just going to regen that back. So good luck with that.
Yeah, this is looking like a very tough game. Originally, we were saying that yeah, it's looking very hard for them to even find any sort of engaged. Psycho, I don't like that position. He needs to be closer to the wall right here.
Yeah, the only way that they win that TBP wins this right now is that they find the mother of all engages, but Psychosis is doing a really, really good job of not getting greedy. They are more than happy to just let the superpowered minions do the work for them, just trying to make sure that they don't get CC by anything, including Zoko. And right now, TBP, they're just watching their base be passively torn apart.
Yeah, they can't do anything. If Psycho and Reborn position correctly, there's nothing you can do. You can't engage on the Jinx. If you engage on the front line, you're going to get blown up.
All right, TBP, let's see what you got. Your base is slowly falling apart. Psychosis is just running around, taking whatever they want. They're robbing your store blind. They're smashing their furniture, busting out the windows. It's going to be the second inhibitor to go down. Psychosis, very disciplined, not going to get greedy. They're going to walk out and go get another structure and make this map as scary as they possibly can for TBP. I like the discipline. I like the decisive calls, too. They're moving as a group. They're not getting isolated. They're not leaving any opportunities for the Big Pythons to get anything done.
Yeah, it feels like a... Here's the other thing. Why wasn't Janna banned if you're going to elect this kind of team composition?
I don't think they necessarily were worried about it. I think that they just thought that they could play around the Janna or just kill it. And here we go, though. This is going to be the
Janna Ultimate's still available. It's spell block.
Didn't get a lot, but now the Diana was CC'd on the back end. Does manage to get the Moonfall in the end. But Psycho on the backside doing a tremendous amount of damage.
He's going to kill them all.
He's going to kill just about every single person on the side of TBP. Well, he's not going to get them all because it's going to be a double kill for the Nasus. And yeah, you've called it. That's an ace for Psychosis. They changed their name. They were originally called Psychology. But yep, that's going to be the teleport coming on through for the Malzahar. They're going to shove this mid-wave into the turrets. And TBP, it looked so good for them in the beginning that Diana was in such a dominant spot. But Psychosis, they made the moves that they needed to make. They tried it back, and now they're going to be up 1-0 in the series.
Yeah, Dusk Legends made it through that initial burst. Draft game 2 for sure going to be an exciting one. I'm just so pumped to see how the game develops going into this set 2. I know Big Python's probably nervous after that first loss. They thought they had some, draft jitsu going on coming into that first game. But, at the end of the day, Psychosis kind of saw through it. They knew, okay, we just needed to draft a disengaged support and kind of play around that play style, and I think they pivoted correctly once they knew that Antibiotics was falling behind in that lane, pivoted more into that support disengaged role, and they played it out perfectly. They did exactly what they need to do, and that's what you want to see out of a team, the ability to adapt over time. Noticing where lanes are falling apart and how you can adapt their other lanes to work around that, and they did it excellently. I expect that this game will be a lot different because Jinx is off the table. They don't really have that hyper-scaling carry anymore. Sivir, of course, is still available, but that really is more of a late-game item-dependent champion. It doesn't really get accelerated in the same way Jinx does, so just curious to see how this develops in Game 2.
Yeah. Team Big Pythons, not really a lot that they can take away from that previous series, or that previous game, just because it didn't really go the way that they would have wanted it to. They had, I think, so heavily indexed into that dive that they didn't walk away with any really good information, other than the fact that Psychosis really does know how to kind of play around the win condition, knows how to protect their ADC. And I think also, though, that they're not necessarily big on playing through mid, so that could be something that they take away from that. But other than that, I think it's just go back to the drawing board and try and reset the series.
Yeah. Lux pick into the Ahri is interesting if they plan on using it mid lane. This usually signals that you'd want to play, if you played support, it would signal that you want to play with another poke style AD carry. We might possibly see a Varus come out, poke Varus come out to complement that. The Ornn pick this early is quite surprising. Ornn is one of those champions that you can counter pretty well with a ranged top laner, such as Gnar or even something like a Vayne. Yeah. And, hey, listen, Vayne works, okay? Vayne can work pretty well if you play it effectively.
Is that too soon?
Hey, I popped off with the Vayne. I don't want to hear it, okay?
That was a rough early game.
Oh, very rough early game, but I'll tell you what, that champion is actually like so good in the mid to late game if you can get some kills on it. That being said, we do see the Ornn come out early. Wukong answered, like we said during the last set. This can be flexed into jungle if necessary, or the top, but being that it is Ornn, we will probably see it in the jungle. It will have a rough time as soon as Ornn gets some of those stats. And Besa, excellent pick into the Ornn, able to dash out of the knockup quite easily and apply stack after stack of armor debuff, assuming that she builds into the Black Cleaver first item.
Yep. This is the first Ambessa of the entire tournament that we've seen, so interested to see how well Team Big Pythons. See, you almost had me saying Baggy Pythons. Look what you've done. Big Pythons, this will be the first time that they've had it on the Rift. It's been routinely banned throughout miniseries. So interesting to see how well it'll perform. But I mean, you're right, it absolutely does. Where is that Cho'Gath going?
I think it'll be a jungle Cho'Gath. Or if you put Ornn support, it's just not good. You don't get the levels necessary to actually use your ornaments effectively. So I think 100% Ornn should be top lane. If they don't put a top lane, it's a huge mistake. Cho'Gath most likely will either be mid or jungle.
Yeah. I think that's the right read. I think Ornn, yeah, like you highlighted, you want him being able to farm and have a solo lane so that way he can start to get those ornaments online. I do, however, like that they have two beefy potential frontliners. Cho'Gath kind of infinitely scaling into the late game. Also gives you a tremendous amount of team fight potential. The knockups, the silences, and then just being able to, I don't know, eat a champion is kind of nice. And then also, it's like having a second smite. You can just chomp on an objective before or after a smite, and it's essentially like guaranteed to be yours as long as he has the ability up. And Psychosis deciding, I'm not sure why they decided to ban the Vayne now. It wouldn't be the most logical pick for Team Big Pythons to pick at this point because of what they've already got in the top of the matchup, and it's not necessarily something you want to pick in the bot side blind just because of what can be picked against it. So interesting to see where both these teams want to move as they lock in their ADC and their support.
Vayne ban doesn't really make too much sense to me unless you're really trying to send Cho'Gath as support in the bot lane with Kai'Sa. It can work, but I don't really understand the Vayne ban. You already know who their top laner is going to be in this Ambessa. Also, I correctly predicted that they would probably want to play Varus with the Lux. They ended up actually banning on the side of Big Pythons, forcing Psycho to actually draft this Kai'Sa. I don't know what they're trying to do here by drafting the Ornn Cho'Gath Phase 1. They're obviously trying to signal, hey, we've got these flex picks, but the flex picks don't really work the way that you'd want them to, given the fact that they've already shown Ambessa. So now it just seems very awkward, and they're going to pivot into a Swain bot lane, which is so good into tank supports. I think you have to now go Cho'Gath jungle, Ornn top, Lux mid.
You probably pick something like a Morgana here maybe to give you some passive healing or shielding, or you pick something like a Zillion to deny some of the engage here.
Yeah, Lux support just feels really awful with Kai'Sa. You don't really have the availability to apply stacks and quickly follow up with Kai'Sa combos that way. Lux support is good in general, right? It's good against Swain because you can slow him and pin him down easily, but
Zyra.
It's just like, Zyra, yeah, it's good against Swain. I like this, but now you've got an Mbesa top against Ornn and a Wukong versus the Cho'Gath jungle. If Angry Plicker can get a huge advantage of the top side, force Cho'Gath to have to answer, I think at a certain point he even 2v1s this lane. And Mbesa is more than happy playing into tank top sides. Not only that, but pulling Cho'Gath out of the jungle and forcing him to answer the top side over and over again prevents any kind of lane advantage for... Oh, we got a little bit of a pause here.
Let's see what's going on. So support DC. We'll see if they get a reconnection there. All right, so talking about the overall team composition. So I think you kind of correctly highlighted it as we wait for the potential reconnect.
All right.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so they're going to have to restart this game.
Manny's not responding, is that what I heard?
Yeah, so his I guess his game or whatever is not responding, so apparently we're going to have to restart this lobby.
Okay. That happens. That'll happen. Good news is that we don't have to redo draft.
Yeah, we already know what it is.
We already know what it is, and we can start talking about it. What I was trying to say earlier before the pause happened is that let me actually disconnect out of this game if I can.
Yeah.
Okay, I can. If you force Cho'Gath to spend more time on the top side, you take away a lot of the advantage that Lux has, if any, against Dusk Legends, this Ahri in the mid lane. The way that Dusk Legends is going to have to play this Ahri around is you basically wait for the snare to come out. You use your ultimate to close distance and dodge it. At that point, you win that trade every single time and possibly have kill pressure. During the lane, though, when you don't have ultimate, all the way up to level 5, Lux does have the advantage because she simply throws out the slow, does damage that way, autos you. You really never win the trade unless you land all 3 balls from your W and your Q return.
Mm-hmm.
So Lux will have the advantage. And the reason why it's dangerous if Cho'Gath is not visiting that mid lane a lot is now Dusk Legends has the freedom to be able to use the ultimate aggressively over and over again, never has to save it. So I think the game is really going to fall upon the hands of Angry Pickler to pilot this Mbesa correctly and force pressure topside.
Yeah. Wanted to see what they're able to do with this. We're looking for the lobby to get restarted.
I will create it right now.
Are they waiting for us to create it, or?
I can create it, yeah.
I thought someone else was going to create that one. All right, folks. We're just bear with us. We're going to try and get the lobby re-going again.
Blind pick, spectator delay?
No spectator delay because the stream's on a delay.
Copy.
All right, there we go.
And I am now game owner. This is actually just working out.
The wonderful parts of playing League of Legends and running a broadcast production at the same time.
100%. Let's go back to the game state and where we see things going. In your opinion, what do you think that Psychosis really wants to do in this matchup? How are they trying to play with the Ornn and the Cho'Gath jungle combined with Lux? How do you think those team fights should go in a way where it actually benefits them time and time again?
Well, I think what they want to do is they're trying to play conservatively through their early to mid game. They want to avoid going down too many objectives, but they don't want to take early fights because their champions aren't strong early. You don't have any early game illness. Cho'Gath is not going to be super mobile around the map a lot. He will be able to clear his camps pretty consistently, but him trying to contest from early objective, he can't really do that without help. Wukong is way more mobile, does way more damage in the early game. So they're going to wait to kind of scale around the mid to late game before they really try and do anything. I think for them, it's kind of protecting their lanes, making sure that Kai'Sa and Zyra aren't really too heavily punished in that bot side, and making sure that they have the ability to kind of make it through without going down too heavily. And so I think for Psychosis, I think as long as they make it through their early to mid game even, then that's a win for them. But if they get into a late game situation and they're super far behind, then it's going to be an issue because you really are super reliant on Cho'Gath getting stacks, passively getting stronger. You're super reliant on Ornn being proactive in getting enough farm to get the levels he needs to distribute the ornaments, and then you may be a little bit more vulnerable in team fights because if you're looking at what Big Pythons have got, it is very, very difficult to win consistent team fights against that roster when it is either even or ahead. And Bessa, Yunara, Swain, like these are really, really difficult champs to get away from. And with the amount of reliable CC they have, if Psychosis, if they're not smart, they're going to lose these team fights in a hurry.
100%. Totally agree. I think that the way this is going, at least how draft has panned out, I do, in my opinion, anticipate a win from Big Pythons just based on draft alone.
Just based on draft. If I had to pick a draft, I would want to have the Big Python draft.
100%. Yeah, I think that if the game goes long enough, my opinion switches. Psychosis does win the game once it gets to that 28 to 35 minute mark. It does become really, really dangerous because of the ornaments coming through, and not to mention Cho'Gath is just going to eventually be a huge threat. Even the front line, even with Mbesa in the front line, with all of that she can do, if she stands next to Cho'Gath, his ultimate alone is going to do half of her health. So that's actually your frontline killer is right there. And they only have, their two frontliners are Wukong and Besa, but Wukong is going to be building Bruiser, and Besa is going to be building pseudo Bruiser tank. Yeah. So you kill Besa, you basically have free reign to kill the rest of the team.
Swain, I think, will provide you some level of frontline capability, but it's not going to be the same way as an Ornn or a Cho'Gath, just because of his lack of being able to build the items, because supports don't really get a tremendous amount of gold, which is, I think, something that Riot should change in the game, to be honest with you. Like, it does feel really bad as a support never being able to max out items that easy, because you're just passively at the whim of every other player, just doing damage and getting kills and stuff like that. You don't really have a way to make gold, and that's very frustrating as someone who plays support. And so I think for Swain, in those instances where you're trying to be a little bit more frontline, it's very difficult because you don't have the opportunity, to gear the way that everyone else does.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that support should be changed in a way where if you're not getting the passive income to complete your items, at least give some more passive EXP so that you're always at least at the level that you should be level-wise. And levels, as we both know, is, every level is roughly 1,000 golden stats. So, yeah. To be 3-4 levels down from the opposing mid laner at level, at 20 minutes in is just quite impressive. I feel like I agree with you there. Supports should have some way to keep up an EXP. I think that would be a good change that Riot can employ. That being said, we're back out on the Rift. We're getting this game started.
Absolutely. And we're going to see similar runouts to the way we saw in the first game. So no pauses this time confirmed that Menaconda is good. Weren't able to take that ward down to the bot side. Oh no. The Zed surprise, the Zed happy emote.
This is a nothing burger.
Nothing's
gonna happen down here.
Yeah, this is just to people kind of throwing out. I will say the passive poke though, for Anaconda, you do have to be worried about Reborn a little bit. If you start taking too much damage from those plants, then it can really feel bad. Because if you're not consistently landing grasp and putting in damage, then you start to lose out some of these trades. And yeah, so if you don't land many of those, it gets hard as in the lane.
100%. Angry Pickler. The key here, we're waiting for Angry to hit level 3. Once he hits level 3, this lane is so oppressive if he's able to dodge out of that knockup. Right now, though, we're seeing Dusk Legends putting the hurt onto Antibiotics, just taking advantage of the fact that he missed his E there. That's the one champion that I never really bothered learning the abilities for. I remember back in the days when the Lux ultimate was it Swedish? It was Finalis von Kellen, I think it was what it was called.
I don't remember at all.
I'm an old player.
I don't remember what it used to be called. I've only remembered the Lux that exists now.
Shout out OG Lux players and Finalis von Kellen. Yeah, I think how it worked was we got a nice grab here.
Yeah, that's the combo that you have to be so worried about if you're the Psychosis bot lane. As soon as that swing grabs you, you're going to be taking a tremendous amount of damage.
Yeah, so apparently the story goes is that when they coded the Lux abilities, the Riot team members that were Psycho getting too much damage.
Low. That's the exhaust. Flash away. First blood goes over to TPP. That was exactly what we were talking about. If you get grabbed by that swing, you're going to go down, and Zoko going to be very happy to have first blood.
Yeah, this combination in the bot side just doesn't make sense to me. You need, if you're playing Kai'Sa, you need someone that's able to lock down the enemy, the opposing players. You have to have someone that's actually going to be able to provide you some level of disengage, whether that's through a root or a stun or what have you. That's why it's so good to have a tank with Kai'Sa. You need it because she lacks the ability or the movement capabilities to actually disengage herself until she gets the stealth dash.
Yeah. And I think that's an abuse that you're going to continue to see in that bot side. As long as Manaconda has mana, he's just going to keep throwing out roots, and he'll be given plenty of opportunities to do so. Albie here is waiting. He's going to land the grass on top of the Zaya. He's going to be able to flash forward Psycho. He's going to go down. Reborn also trying to get a little bit of space. That's going to be the barrier used. Zoko live right now. It looked like for a moment Reborn might be able to trade, but will not be able to do so. I will say, though, I want to point this out. Virgil able to get a sneaky Scuttle Crab grab. And
1000%.
Oh, yeah, that's just going to be down below the flash. You're going to go down. Antibiotics going to get the first kill for Psychosis.
With the mid laner down, this plan is no longer going to work. But if I was on the side of Big Pythons, as soon as you kill Psycho a second time, this is my opinion. Albie needs to transfer over into the bot side jungle of Psychosis, and actually, you play up to the tower, you collapse the wave, and you kill Psycho again. And now the game is over for this bot side. But because of Antibiotics getting that kill mid, they're able to get Psycho back into lane because now it's too dangerous for Albie to actually sit in that bot jungle, and we're back here. But an excellent follow-up play by Big Pythons, recognizing, Angry Pickler.
He
not
knew,
in a good spot here.
He knew that Virgil hadn't backed. I don't know why you would step up that far. You don't really have a lot of help. It's going to be a hot minute before Wukong can get over here. Ari trying to transition, but you'll be dead long before they get there. One more auto does it. 2 flashes expended, but it's absolutely worth it to get there. Angry Pickler, his potential opportunity to scale on that top lane just got put to an end.
Yeah, just a bit of a misstep there by Angry Pickler, not identifying correctly that the jungler, like you said, hadn't backed yet. And at that point, you can't be doing that in the game series like this. You've got to be playing a little bit more defensive, recognizing what advantages that Psychosis is setting up there. And they didn't even have to set anything up. Angry Pickler walked straight into it.
Yeah, he knew that the Cho'Gath was still backing. I think maybe what he was thinking was that, by the time I move forward like this, the Cho'Gath will complete his back and that I can get the trade. But, yeah, that back was not quite as completed as I think maybe Angry Pickler thought it was going to be. And there's something that I highlighted earlier. When I was talking about being able to protect those lanes, Virgil's doing a really, really good job where he has moved from bottom through mid to top. He's gotten 2 kills, forces out the flash from Dusk Legends as Antibiotics. But that's what you need to be doing as the Psychosis jungler is you're just buying time for the other team members to just slowly scale like you want to, and especially in that top side where now that Ornn has a little bit less to be worried about after getting some of the assist gold, you can definitely continue to put Angry Pickler under threat with the explicit understand. Oh, flash forward, but the auto's enough along with the E. Yeah, Dust Legends doesn't second time he's dead.
Lux playing that matchup, Antibiotics playing this Lux rather perfectly. Like we said in Champ Select, Lux will have the advantage to level 6. He's basically able to push that to the very limits. Gets the kill as they turn, right after they turn level 6 because of the amount of the oppressive damage he's doing. And at this point, you've already got Dusk Legends 2 deaths handed over to him. This is feeling pretty good if you're on the side of Psychosis.
Psycho doing really good damage to Zoko, especially with the Zyra plants. So starting to seeing some fairly aggressive trades in that bot side. Low life feels goes unstoppable. And Angry Pickler wants to land the full combination and does, but ultimately doesn't do too much damage to Ornn. And so long as he's careful with the life bars, shouldn't be under too much danger. There's a dragon going to be picked up by Cho'Gath, which is, I think, what we would have expected given the overall strength of that Cho'Gath right now. 1-0-1. Will actually be completing his first back now, so this is going to be a very healthy buy.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what Pickler builds here first. If it is not a Black Cleaver, that is such a blunder. You need that first item to go through the armor that Ornn is going to be stacking in this matchup.
Yep. Right now, Albie here not being as proactive as I would have thought that he would have been on that Wukong. And I think unless he starts to get busy soon, it's going to become an issue because Virgil's getting a lot done right now on this Cho'Gath. Way more, in fact, that I think he would have been in a position to do. But I think the reason I believe that was because based on what TBP had drafted and the fact that, you have this Wukong, I would have fully expected them to, be a little bit more proactive on the map, be able to get Jenks off just a little bit easier and be in a position to get dragged. But Virgil has flipped that on his head. And helping his laners sort of even that up has been a big deal.
Yeah, I think if you're on Big Pythons, you need to recognize the advantages that you've built in this bot lane and start prepping Albi to be bot side almost the entire game. I think you pivot into taking you have to have Dusk Legends guide you, but you basically start warding up the bot side jungle of Psychosis, and you just transfer into taking that jungle over and over again. As you can see right now, both bot sides are about to spawn at the same time. This is a perfect opportunity for Wukong to pivot down there and start making the bot side jungle his. You basically give Angry Pickler the finger and say, hey man, I'm sorry, you're on your own in this one. You're weak siding this game. You should be able to handle yourself, being that you're on this Ambesa, and you just start ganking Psycho and Zyra all over and over again. Psycho and Reborn rather over and over again, and giving yourself a real fighting chance going into this mid game, which we know that Zoko has the ability to carry.
I love this adjustment, though, from Psychosis. They went ahead and roamed the Zyra up. They knew that potentially TBP would want to make a play towards the Grubs. And then the fact that Virgil's so far ahead, just chunking out that Wukong in his own jungle, just the warning, like, hey, back off, we're going to fully commit. It was 4 strong there, and Bessa's not really in a position to do anything about it, so that objective for free. And the nice part about Psycho is he's less worried about anything happening in this bot lane now. He can just kind of passively farm up and look to catch up a little bit because he's not under threat from the Swain. And I think also what kind of helped that, too, is the fact that Manaconda wasn't really going to be able to walk over to the other side of that lane towards trying to get over to the Grubs to help. So free play for Psychosis, and yes, that early play in the bot side doesn't necessarily go their way, but they have more than answered for it.
Yeah, Psycho right now is 6 farm down, and I don't really know how that's possible considering that he died twice in lane with Zoko.
That was the thing I was thinking. I was like, how are you still even in farm right now?
Yeah, he's only 400 gold ahead. That's a health crystal.
This is what you called for. Albi is here. How long does he want to
Albi
wait
needs to be here, but he's in a bad spot. He needed the Maniconda needs to have red trinket and needs to pivot towards the bottom river to clear all the vision, and then that way Albi can actually position correctly to dive. You can dive this team fairly easily, but you can't just run up and hit them because Reborn has the ability to snare an ultimate now.
Yes. Well, and not only that, too, but like Reborn being very aggressive and checking these brushes. No, Albi. Psycho has the flash. Now Reborn will be caught on the opposite end, but he's going to throw a 2-man root there. Virgil wants to see if he can get involved. Reborn should just be falling here. The ultimate from Anaconda. Another teleport going to be committed from the top side. Virgil not able to get anything over. A little bit maybe of an overcommitment. Psycho just trying to pat in the damage. He has activated the ultimate here, and Psycho has nowhere to go. That's 3 kills. They got a little bit aggressive. They weren't cognizant of what the play might have been. Wukong got involved there. That's what they wanted.
Yeah, Zyra, I feel like Albi was caught out, and at the same time, Reborn steps forward on the Xayah, gets mispositioned there, and immediately is punished for it. Because he falls, there's no CC or any abilities at all that are available to protect Psycho from falling as well. And, Cho'Gath is not this champion that can burst people that quickly, this early in the game. A little late. He has plenty of burst, but not enough to get on the back line, even with the Hextech Rocket Belt. It's just not enough movement to actually chase Zoko down, and just a massive misplay by the side of Psychosis, and props to Big Pythons for taking advantage of it.
Yeah, and I think on the call should have been there, like, you're always going to lose Reborn in that play. You've already committed the ultimate, but maybe just, be happy with getting Psycho out and not worry about trying to follow up any further into the play. I think that the difficulty for them, too, is, like, you want to try and make something more happen, but you're not really in a position to do so. I will say, though, a lot expended there from TBP to get away from that. Zoko and Manaconda had to use both of their summoners, but that is effectively traded by the summoners on the side of Psychosis, so really it's just kind of a net neutral there. And I think the other thing, too, like you highlighted, like Virgil, I think, just got a little bit too aggressive, a little bit too overzealous and thinking he was going to be able to make something happen. He might be able to make something happen here, though, but yeah, Dust Legends knows that that's not going to be the play to make. Lowlife feels. It's unfortunately not going to be that Black Cleaver, I think, for Angry Pickler.
Is it not? Is there not a pickaxe in
There's
Black
a pickaxe,
Cleaver?
but I'm not sure. Wait, can he build something else with the pickaxe and the Call of Warhammer? I may be wrong. Ignore me. I may be wrong there. Speaking of getting ignored...
well, I think he could build Eclipse.
Oh, manages to get the Devour and does slay Albi here. But this dragon is still aggro, but Maniconda is absolutely on the wrong side of this one. And you know who had teleport? The Ornn. They're going to be able to pick up their second dragon of this game. That is a great trade for Psychosis. Not bad. They get the jungler to 1-for-1 trade there, but then they follow up the Swain and the jungler. And the dragon at the end of it.
100%. A great play from I'm tongue-tied today, too. A great play from Psychosis. They're able to pivot correctly, noticing what advantages they have on the map. Low Life Fields with an excellent TP down to the bottom lane. That being said, Angry Plicker will get a few advantages. He's going to be able to grab 3 of these plates. Oh, no, only 2 of the plates before the wave spawns, and Low Life is heading on his way back. So, Low Life, a level up, right?
Yep.
2 assists, no deaths, and less than 20 farm behind. You are absolutely stoked in this position.
Well, this is what I want to highlight because this is what we mentioned earlier. In a state like this,
you got
where,
the Eclipse. No.
Yeah, I told you it wasn't going to be that Black Cleaver. Yeah, no. Yeah, that's not.
It's a mistake.
It's a mistake. You need to be able to shred the armor. Well, and the point that I wanted to make was this, because we highlighted this at the beginning, that, you know, for Psychosis, if they're going even in the state like this where TBP categorically has better early game champions, if they're even or even possibly ahead in a state like this after like the first, 20 or so minutes, I mean, that is an absolute net win for them. And they're making it through this early game fairly well. They're not really losing any major objectives. Like, they're not losing a tremendous number of tower plates. No one's really died too often, although we've had some fairly aggressive skirmishing. Like, they're not under any any real amount of threat. And so they're doing a really good job at navigating this early and possibly this mid game. And as long as they continue to do so into the late game, they're going to be fine.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, tell us about that Eclipse that you don't like.
The Eclipse build on Mbesa is standard. You do want to build the Eclipse, but here's the thing. You want to build the Eclipse in these short trade matchups, not in these long extended ones. Yeah, Dux, he'll be okay. He's got another charge of his ultimate.
Well, he used the last one to get underneath the turret, but yeah. But it was close enough there. Yeah, but he was close enough that he wasn't going to be in any danger at that point. As ping's coming down. Mbesa might be potentially getting cut off. Oh, Virgil wants to make something happen there and is going to force Mbesa to take the long way underneath the turret.
Mbesa will kill him. Mbesa will kill this Cho'Gath.
I don't know if he can do it. I don't know if he can do it with the Ornn in the area though, because Ornn has ultimate and has the ability to walk over.
Yeah, he must have identified that Ornn was moving down correctly, so adjust,
they need to get out of here.
Said.
Oh, this is going to be Reborn going down. Don't even try and fight this. Don't make anything else happen. Don't overcommit. He's always going to die here. Oh, Zoko might... Oh, antibiotics with the long-range Lux ult makes it a 1-for-1.
And Alice von Kellen.
Alice von Kellen. Psycho, please don't. Please don't. Just, yeah. Just go ahead and walk out of there. Dust Legends, though, was going to step up to the turret. Oh, man. No. And doesn't even get the return. Doesn't have ultimate. Antibiotics just making this hurt so bad. No, he doesn't have. Antibiotics doesn't have ultimate, but neither does Dust Legends. It's still on cooldown. Yeah. Oh. This just feels not good. Takes the blast going over, but Virgil is still not stopping. Oh, that's the knockup and the Devour. He gets yet another stack. They chase that Ahri down. Psychosis. They own the jungle. Where is it? Where is Abby? What is he doing in this moment? I have not seen him do anything progressive other than try and gank this bot lane. You need to be a little bit more proactive on the map because this is another neutral objective going towards Psychosis.
He is in the bot lane, but they haven't been able to do anything. They haven't been able to actually negate anything on this bot side. You had such a strong lead in the bot side.
Somehow Psychosis has a CS lead. He has a CS lead now.
Horizon, tell me the gold lead you see in this bot side.
It's 116
on the side of the 80
gold
carries.
For Psycho. Somehow, after dying 2 times very early on in the game, he has a CS and a gold lead. 1-3-1. He doesn't have a kill lead. He is 1-3-1. Like, Zoko has kills and is at least on money-wise behind him, even though he does have more component knights. Oh, antibiotics. That is not where you wanted to be. Ahri's going to get the shutdown there. What's going to do? Reborn, he is on the absolute wrong side of this play. He's going to get charmed. He's going to go down. Virgil doesn't have the ultimate this time. Remember, this is the fight that TBP wanted to get going. This is where they're going to be very, very strong. And yeah, Virgil will just be going down here. This next dragon is going to be TBP's. That was what they've been wanting to do this whole time. They wanted to group as 5 and start to team fight, and that's going to make that happen now.
Yeah, 100%. And something that I don't think we've really put any focus on, but it definitely deserves praise, is Manny on this Swain. He has landed probably 7 or 9 grabs that have resulted in kills. Manny is solo carrying this bot side wholeheartedly, and probably if they end up winning this game, he was the whole reason why they just won that fight around Dragon. Oh man, Reborn grabbed again. Yeah, he's landing these grabs one after another, and he's getting a lot of stacks because of it. You're seeing Manny get a lot of free health out of these ability lands.
Yeah, antibiotics dead there means that it's going to be very difficult, in fact, impossible for them to try to go contest for this dragon. So Psychosis, they've been doing such a good job in keeping the game slow, and they need to get back to that. They need to make sure that they're not giving anything over that they don't absolutely need to.
This is denying Dragon Soul. That's huge.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to get to Dragon Point off of that, which is I think
Dragon
really
Point, rather.
Yeah, that's all right. What I think like Psychosis really would have wanted would be on that Dragon Point, but it's okay. It's only delaying it. It's not like they're down dragons thing like that. It's really only one for the side of TBP. It just delays that potential objective. Reform, nice sidestep. But I mean, yeah, TBP they're starting to get a little bit more practice, starting to get a little more aggressive, which is kind of what I was calling here. They're calling for with Abby here. They're going to summon that Herald in the top side and look to knock this down. And then they can start to move Ornn around this map and get a little bit more aggressive and now get the scaling going and then start handing out some of these ornaments. So first turn going over to Psychosis is going to feel really good. Oh, they might be able to get a kill here on the top side. Now Zoko going to be conventionally caught up, gets the knock-up Psycho.
Nice
managing to
Psycho.
stack the plasma. Now Reborn just needs to try to make his way out of here. Is going to get ignited. Manacon just slowly putting him down. Psycho, what are you doing? The longer the Swain is in that ultimate, the longer... I don't understand. Like, auto him to death from range. You are not at all afraid of him. Ultimately expire now. Psycho, I think, left that a little bit longer than he needed to. Psycho's going to get a double kill in that bot side. But that was way longer than it needed to be.
Possibly just waiting for his ultimate to end.
They're diving into the tower. Virgil slays Angly Pickler. Psychosis, they're mad and they're ready to start doing something about it. This is their response to the last couple of plays that TBP has made. Psycho, you're going down here. One more dash forward with Abby. Oh, he's going to get the barrier, but it's really all for nothing.
They should be able to pick up both of these, especially if the charm lands. Oh, they didn't even need the charm.
Yeah, they didn't even need it.
But yeah, topside, huge advantage taken from Psychosis. They're able to knock down Pickler and get, what is this, 5 plates for low life? And now he's level 13. You know what level 13 signals, right?
Ornaments, it means Christmas Santa Claus. It means Christmas Ornn. Zoko. Will he be able to kill the Ornn here? Yeah, he's just dead here. Want to know, Antibiotics, giving him a temporary shield, manages to save the Ornn's life. Huge bailout there.
100%. Antibiotics playing this Lux excellently, able to save the Ornn there. In fact, I feel like the Lux was playing this matchup perfectly almost all game, but Dusk Legends identified that, hey, I'm not getting any advantages in this mid lane. It's time to roam, and we've seen him close that gap, and in fact, now he has a gold lead because of how much damage he's been doing on these side lanes.
All right,
what a back and forth game. Look at the gold.
Oh.
It's completely even.
It's completely even. TBP, what do you want to do about this? You've had a couple of really good plays. You managed to get a couple kills on the bot side, but that was traded for a lot in the top lane. And now, Psychosis, they can start to group and start to negate some of that individual vulnerability that they had in the lanes. Yes, their bot tower is gone, but they still they have plenty to work around. Mid tower is still up, top tower is still up, so they have those bastions of strength. And now for TBP, it's like you have to find a way to navigate this next phase. Actually, I'm sorry, that mid lane turret is down. I don't know why I still thought that was up. But you have to find a way to start working through the next phase because now that Psychosis are going to be grouped up, it's going to be a lot harder to pick some of these individual members. It's going to be based on, I think, their positioning and then how aggressive they really want to get on some of these objectives.
Yeah, 100%. I think that Psychosis is slowly getting to the point where that late game scaling is going to come into play. We said it earlier, if Angry Pickler doesn't have a lead in this top lane,
he does not.
It's going to effectively result in the late game being reachable by Psychosis, and they reach it.
When unstoppable, now there's multiple members here, but all low life and Virgil have to do is buy a little bit of time. Psycho, not sure what he's waiting on. It's going to be the knockout on Anaconda, another teleport yet committed. Yet more members of Psychosis not helping out here. I'm not sure what the call is. They seem to be like, not sure whether or not they want to stay or go in.
Lux is TPing. This is going to turn around.
Ultimate, what else can they do? The helper's trying to get low. Psycho's the next to fall. Lux ultimate grabs too, so at least there's going to be a trade for something. And only just now is Zyra going to be able to walk up here. I don't know what Psychosis was waiting for to pull the trigger and to starting to respond to what TBP was going to do, but if you play like that, you deserve to lose in those instances. And Psychosis, they got lazy or just decided that, I don't know, they just didn't want to respond to it, and they're going to lose a lot for it.
Yeah, I feel like maybe they believe that Bridge... or. Well, are we calling Briagi? Burgle?
I'm calling him Virgil.
Virgil. They probably just felt like Virgil in low life fields probably had the tankiness, the health that they needed to just kind of walk their way out. But as soon as you see the entire team collapsing, someone on the team comms needs to say, go, go, go. We got a TP top. Lux TP just a little bit too late there. It seemed like maybe she was just greedy to clear out the bottom wave. And because she's not there early, because Reborn was in kind of an awkward position, didn't really ult effectively.
Virgil wants to try and get out of this. Man, just land the silence. But the knockup on top of that, Zyra and the Lux starting to get going. Psycho has gained yet his 4th kill in this game. That's the Invested gone, though. It's a lot of their power gone with it. A lot of the front line gone. They want to try and start this dragon off, but it's a 4v4. No jungler available for Psychosis, but low health bars because those members are very, very, very squishy. Albie here wants to try and find something, not get spotted on vision. Low left doing a really good job to potentially block a dust. Legends falling very, very high. That's going to be also
too low.
Now it's Yornhorn on top of the rest of them. Will he be able to get it? Yes, they buy a little bit of space for Albie. Wants to try and see if he can get on top of Psycho again, trying to stack the plasma, but it's not going to work. He's going to kill the Wukong right where he stands, and now the dragon absolutely available. Ooh, Zoko, though, he's going to activate his own ult. Antibiotics helps to knock that one down. And now this is just going to be the sway and fall. Anaconda going to activate his ult, but all they have to do is just wait it out. Teleport going to be committed. He's going to fall. Now they're going to kill whoever this is teleporting. The Ambessa wants to get something, but here comes Shogoth. The ult doesn't hit anybody. Antibiotics now just going to slowly walk away. And Virgil,
why is Finger Pickle here? This is silly.
There's no way for you to do anything right here, Virgil. Wants to continue to let passively. If they could get Angry Pickle here, they would love to. Smite and the Chomp going to steal it. No chance for it. And a long team fight, Psychology managed to win it. Psychosis.
Yeah, just outplaying them in the team fight. I am genuinely curious if Maniconda had his ultimate available earlier in that fight. I feel like if you just have Maniconda step forward and ult, it actually prevents Psychosis from being able to group in the way that they did. It might split them up to the point where Zoko can start firing over the top and actually getting some damage down.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It just felt like it just misplays after misplay towards that bot side. And Angry Pickler falling down immediately after taking out Virgil.
Yeah, Angry Pickler took out Virgil at the beginning of that fight, but then the fight went so long that he was able to respawn and come back in.
Yeah, so that just feels like an overall loss. I mean, yeah, you killed the jungler, but at what cost? And I don't know, it just felt like if they played that a little bit differently, probably would have resulted in a Big Python's win in that team fight.
Well, in massive respect to Psycho, too, was standing up for so long, managed to live through all of that Wukong damage, gets 2 kills after killing the Ahri, then backs out, kills the Wukong. And Psycho now starting to get to the point where he needs to be, becoming that late threat, has the Swiftwind Bow, I can't remember what that's called, has the Kraken Slayer and the Rage Blade. So this Kaisa started to become the late game threat that we always knew it would be. And the ornament started to come through as well, as he has the empowered, I'm not sure, did he improve the, what did he improve there? He improved the Sunfire Cape, and has already improved the, oh God, I was forget the Rift, Riftmaker.
Riftmaker, yeah.
For the side of the Cho'Gath, which is starting to do wonders. So now he'll just start to make his way through the remainder of these items. Antibiotics doing a really good job of sidestepping all of Dust Legends' damage.
Yeah, this is where Dusk Legends has the advantage. We talked about it earlier. As soon as Dusk Legends actually uses the ultimate aggressively onto Lux, it becomes a whole lot harder for Lux to kind of do what she wants to do. So at this point, Lux is kind of pushed into wave clear duty and has to play towards the back of the team fight and just hopefully land a nice snare.
Yep. And TBP, they're just trying to maintain some aggressive vision control around this Baron, so because they know how quickly Psychosis can do this, it wouldn't be very difficult for it all to burst this. Oh, they're going to stop making the pickers back. If they get him there, this is the Baron. This is low life fields. He's going to land the Ornhorn. No ult used yet to get to safety, but he's going to go unstoppable. Gets devoured before he even gets to the other side. That should be the Baron call for the side of Psychosis.
100% should be the Baron call, and it's easy to take. You've got no more engage except for Albie, and Albie is not that tanky.
Out.
He's going to fall down pretty quickly if he tries to get involved with Virgil, who still going to try. His ultimate is off cooldown in, I think, like 15 seconds.
Yep.
So I think you actually hold off until his ultimate's off cooldown, and then you engage this fight.
Yep. This is a greedy backing spot. Albie here, I'm not sure what they're trying to do. Maybe they're trying to see if they can bait him forward. Yeah, they're going to have to back off on this one.
That was risky for Albie to even step up there. If he would have gotten grabbed, that's game over.
Psychosis, though, they're going to go ahead and hit the reset, come back out on the map, and potentially look for another play. Dragon is going to be spawning at about 1 minute and 30 seconds, so they could look to play there. Antibiotics needs to be careful. TBP wants to hunt him. If they could take out this mid laner, it makes the fight a whole lot easier. And Psycho also needs to be careful. You do not want either your ADC or your mid laner getting grabbed right now, but they're getting tagged up with damage, so Psychosis at least knows the TBP is in their topside jungle.
They need to send Ornn bot side. I don't really know why he's going back right now. He's got full health, and he can build items out in the field.
They might be trying to stay. I think they may be trying to stay.
Guard?
Yeah.
Maybe to home guard bot lane. Yeah, so he's home guarding bot lane, using the home guards to actually travel quicker to that bot lane. But he's not. He's moving towards mid. They need to send him bot lane, stay in bot lane to use the home guard advantage, and start pushing that bot side. He's got TP, and they want Ornn to get levels. The longer that Ornn actually is with the team, it's actually worse because you don't have the levels and you don't get the ornaments properly.
They want to clear out this vision, but Reborn, he's going to go down immediately. No, manages to live. They skill Dust Legends. This is absolutely going to be the dragon secured for TB or for Psychosis now. They want to find a little bit more. They didn't have to invest a whole lot to get those kills. Meanwhile, Mbessa in the top side is going to slowly start to put damage onto that top turret. Does have teleport available to join this fight. Virgil instead wants to walk out towards mid lane. They want to push this wave in and they get pressure for this dragon. Would give them the Dragon Soul, and for Infernal on this composition would be fantastic for Psychosis.
It would be fantastic. At least Antibiotics does have the TP, but again,
no
like
good
I said
wards.
earlier,
there's no wards. Like if they clear out this control ward, he has really nowhere other than to behind the Dragon Pit. Yeah, he's going to teleport there. Was forced to, and this may be a one-way teleport. He's going to immediately get aggroed. As Lux starting to join. It's a 5-on-5 here available. Who wants this more? Remember, if it comes down to a smite fight, TBP absolutely loses because they have the smite and the devour, so they're going to have to knock down at least one of those members is TBD if they want to have any chance of this. Angry Pickler is already low.
Virgil's not on it.
Oh, but that's the Wukong ultimate, the knock-up, trying to buy a little bit of space. Angry Pickler, though,
on the back line,
trying to get
Psycho.
Virgil is down. Angry Pickler is the next to fall, but multiple members of Psychosis down, and now they've got to beat a hasty retreat as Roro. The plasma oh my god, the plasma stacked up for Psycho. Low Life Phil's just trying to wake his way out of here. Manages to flash. 3-on-2 available. It's only the support and the mid laner available. And Psychosis, they want to try and stand this out if they can. Anaconda doesn't have any ultimate to work with right now. Psycho can do a lot of damage from very, very far. Reborn, though, is one tick of health away from death. Teleport is available for the top laner of Psychosis. They can start to make their way down in here. Abby here has completed an item, but it's 15 seconds until the junglers respawn.
Slight misstep by Virgil there, just being a little bit too far back, which just allows big pythons to just walk right onto the dragon and take advantage, followed by a nice team fight. And now, because Virgil's still back in base, this is going to be a free dragon for the side of big pythons that can prevent soul.
This was a ballsy call to go ahead and turn around and try and do that, because if literally anybody from TBD had stayed, that would have been a disastrous outcome for Psychosis. But he who dares wins in Psychosis.
Sorry, yeah, Psychosis, my mistake.
Yeah. Psychosis dared to win, though, on the Dragon Soul, and that's a huge soul to pick. Infernal on this comp is massive.
Yeah, it's super ballsy play, knowing that your jungler had to go B, and you don't even know really where Albie is. I mean, you assume that he is farther back, but without any vision, it's just like really risky.
Well, he was dead, but there were still two other members that could have been up, so I think still risky from the fact that Ari and like Anaconda were up just to interfere with that, because if they die, then Baron is essentially free for TBP.
You're right. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I didn't notice that Albie actually was still on his death timer.
Yeah, he had like 7 or 8 seconds still left.
Oh, okay, that makes sense then.
Angry Pickler might be caught out here. Is going to narrowly avoid the knockup, but Virgil, they have all they need to do to follow up on this one. Is going to go unstoppable, but they've got him where they want him on the wrong side of this fight. Angry Pickler not going to have to work his way out. That means he doesn't have the ultimate to try and get onto the squishier members here of Psychosis. He is being knocked up, beaten, battered, bruised. It's a bouncy castle, and Psycho wants to pick up the kill for their retaliation for what he tried to do earlier, and now they're going to make their way towards this Baron. Virgil, does he have access to the ultimate? Yes, he does. So this should just be a free Baron, unless something goes drastically wrong. Luck's not here for the fight. Black Mage, this might be the start of the 2-0 that Psychosis wanted in order to get to the grand finals. Anaconda getting absolutely chunked out. None of the damage really being sticky enough, at least not onto the members that they want for TBD. And the recall is going to come out. And they should just be turning towards this Baron. Psychosis, do they want to try and get a couple more kills? Ooh, Dusk Legends. Oh, the ultimate going to delete him. That is absolutely go. But if you don't do turn into a Baron now, then you're never going to do it. Yep, they're gonna make their way.
No, the way that play worked out is basically you have these two tanky frontliners, and as soon as Antibiotics is able to get in a position where he can just throw out free ultimates and free abilities all game and just do tons of damage, it becomes so hard for big pythons.
Baggy
pythons to have any sort of way to actually engage onto their team, and they're just forced backwards over and over again. And then all of a sudden you get hit by one snare and you're dead.
You know what's funny is, as Cassius, we have the ability to just unilaterally change the name of something. So we could just unilaterally change their name to Baggy Pythons, which I think would be very funny. But Psychosis, they're going to continue to work their way towards this mid lane. They're going to knock down this tower. Zoko!
Oh my!
Deleted from 75% health off of one Lux ult. And by the way, very, very short cooldown on that ability. Now they're going to get a whole lot for that. They've got a very healthy minion wave. They can start to work their way towards it. My God. 7, 3, and 10 on that Lux. That is starting to really hurt.
100%. It is starting to chunk.
Yep. Oh, they managed to get the shutdown to Zyra, but that's really just a consolation prize. It's really not the one you want. And now they should be looking to go ahead and transfer this pressure towards the bot side as Low Life feels pushing that wave in towards the turret. But they want to maintain pressure here as well. They don't want TBP feeling that they can start to try and answer this. Low Life feels is going to passively put the damage into the turret, wait for the minions to do the job. In Psychosis, they'd really like to break the base here if they could.
I don't want to harm.
Goodbye, Sweet Prince. He has been out of the fountain for about 15 seconds and then is immediately put there. But TBP, they want to see if they can make something happen here. Angry Picker just trying to do the damage. Albie trying to get towards this backside. Antibiotics doing a really good job to buy some space. That's 2 kills there and Best sit down. Meanwhile, on the bot side, Low Life feels just casually tearing apart the base. That's 3 dead for the side of TBP. I don't think that they can end right now, but they can most certainly get a couple of inhibitors.
Zoko has to be really careful here.
Wait.
If he gets...
They might try and end this. They might try. They have 3 strong. Zoko would make this easy. Zoko manages to avoid both ult, but Psycho doing a tremendous amount of damage. They've still got a really healthy wave. It's at least a minimum 10 seconds. They will be able to...
that level 18 orange just destroyed
This is the end. This is the end of the series. They're going to end the game right here, right now, before anybody can even respond. Psychosis pulls the trigger and wins the series. They are going to grand finals.
Psychosis showing why they are the team to beat here. Antibiotics putting on an absolute show on this Lux. There was multiple times where all he hit was the ultimate, and it's still just 100-0 multiple members on the side of Big Pythons. I think at a certain point, there was ample time throughout the early and mid game, I think, for Big Pythons to take more advantages. I think there was a couple missed opportunities here. I think Angry Pickler never electing to build that Black Cleaver meant that there was no armor pen throughout the entire game. Yes. Zoko's last item right now was the Last Whisper. He was just now building it. So there was no armor pen on the entire team until that point. Without any armor pen, how are you killing Cho'Gath and Low Life in these fights on this Ornn? You aren't. Yeah. There's these 2 beefcakes sitting in front. You can't get through them. Meanwhile, Lux is casting one ability and it's nuking your whole team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I couldn't help but laugh because we had seen the Ahri get deleted underneath the turret, and then by the time they made it to that mid lane base turret, she had respawned. It had been alive for about maybe 10-15 seconds. They just deleted again. So massive respect to Psychosis. They absolutely delivered on the draft, and they did what we said that they needed to do. They managed to go even, maybe just like a tad bit behind, but I mean, not even really behind, even through the early to mid game, and then slowly started stacking their passive scaling. Yes, there were some iffy moments, but they were never really in too much danger, and then just playing smart and being aggressive got them what they needed. And yeah, you're right, some blunders there in terms of the itemization made it so much easier for TBP for Psychosis to survive in those moments. And their reward now is that they are going straight to grand finals.
That's right, Psychosis in grand finals, and unknown to you, possibly something that happened during that broadcast was actually Mentally Challenger ended up beating Holiday Express, which pushes them back into loser bracket finals. So we will not, unfortunately, be casting the game of Big Pythons versus Mentally Challenger, a repeat of the first game that we casted earlier today. However, we will be seeing the winner of that team versus Psychosis in the grand final. Will it be a repeat of Big Pythons playing them and hopefully giving us another banger 2 games like we just saw, or will Mentally Challenger overcome their past series against Big Pythons and get their way into grand finals?
Yeah, absolutely. So the next game that we will be bringing you is going to be the Purple Division Grand Finals. This will be a best of 5 between Allergic to Objective and Gaston's Blue Farm Animals. This will be taking place at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central. So please stick around as we prepare for that series. We are super excited to cast that series, and then immediately following that, without maybe a short break, depending on how quickly that series is over, we will then be following that up with the grand finals of whoever wins versus Psychosis. We're super excited for that. Massive respect to Psychosis. They played played extremely well, and I'm excited to see them in finals. And we are here live with Psycho, the ADC from Psychosis. You have just qualified for the grand finals of the Yellow Bracket. How are you feeling right now?
Fucking amazing.
Yeah?
Hell yeah.
Awesome. So walk me through both those games, because that second game, that was starting to get a little squirrely there for you guys.
Yeah, it was a little tough. I mean, we've gone up against Pythons probably 3 times now. Although granted, it was a different team at the time. We had a little bit of a shake-up in our roster, and they beat us every time. And so it was really vindicating to be able to beat them this time. So. Gotcha.
Yeah. How I saw your reaction in the league chat to that first draft in that game. What were y'all's comms like? How were y'all feeling about that, especially in the early game when they were that Diana was getting out of control?
I wasn't being very nice. I was getting mad because it seemed like they were gonna snowball on me. But we just had faith in the team comp, because honestly we beat them in draft. We felt really disrespected picking Zach into Janna. Like, we just kind of knew it was gonna go our way in time. Reborn, obviously MVP the first game, 100%. He played exactly what he needed to do. And then Bio in game 2, just that Lux damage was insane. When he killed Yunara in the mid lane, we were going wild.
Yeah. We thought it was rather funny when he ulted towards the end of that game. He ults the Ahri underneath the tower. She dies, and then you guys make it to that mid lane turret, and then the Ahri is alive for like 10 seconds, and then gets ulted again from 75% health, and is just dead. So I imagine that was a lot of fun for you guys.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. Props to Albie. Like, he's the one to beat. We just ban him out. That's what we have to do. I mean, we're not gonna. He would always play divers, and he just goes for me, and obviously that's not fun for us.
Yeah, I noticed that there's a little bit of a friendly rivalry from you and a couple of the other members there. Some IRL friendship going on. Does that make it a little bit spicier for you guys, knowing that you see each other afterwards?
Absolutely. Dusk and I have been friends for probably, going on 10, 15 years. We've known each other for a while. And Reborn also, probably about a little bit less, but about 10 years has known both of us. And so we've been friends for a while.
Gotcha.
Actually, Dusk and I have been on teams probably back in season 4, season 3 time.
Oh, wow.
Awesome. Well, something that I wanted to know, Psycho, is in that set, there was a point where at what point really during the second game did you realize that your composition was starting to come online? I know that in the early game it seemed a little rough, especially with you falling behind to those early ganks, but at what point did you realize, hey, this bot lane advantage doesn't really exist anymore, we can kind of do what we want at this point?
Honestly, it was when it was on that third Drake where I kind of realized, we as a comp just kind of overpowered them. We were a little worried about the Swain with Rylai's. It made the fights a lot harder because of the fact that he could basically keep our jungler from being able to do much. And there was a lot of concern around backing him up. And so we tried to play front to back. Obviously, with Kaisa, you want to go a little, you want to go a little psycho with Kaisa and try to find people in the back line. If I had a W on someone, and I'm going to go for it. We had some good picks, and it just all kind of went our way. We got lucky, honestly.
Awesome. How excited are you to, know that now that you're in grand finals, are you anticipating a certain team that you might be playing against? Are there any, do you anticipate who's going to win the matchup, the repeat between Big Pythons and Mentally Challenger?
Dusk Legends, I better see you in the grand finals.
Interesting. All right, a repeat.
Awesome. Well, Psycho, we appreciate you taking a couple moments to talk to us. We wish you the best of luck in this grand final series. Obviously, we won't be able to stream the lower bracket matchup, so it'll be interesting to see who actually makes it out of that between Big Pythons and Mentally Challenger. Yeah, that'll be a rematch for them. So it'll be rematches all around. But excited either way. We wish you all the best of luck, and we will see you guys in a few hours.